In 1996, Princeton won their third lacrosse championship of the 90s with a dramatic overtime win against Virginia. 97 saw them win number 4 by clubbing the University of Maryland 19-7. And this year, the Tigers reached the finals through a confident come-from-behind victory over the explosive Syracuse Orangemen and Casey Powell. Meanwhile, Maryland coach Dicky Dell wanted another shot at Princeton and shocked number 1 seed Loyola in the semis with a powerful offense led by Andrew Whipple, Matt Hahn, and number 24, Scott Hochstead. Maryland comes into the finals flying high against the team that has been the best of the 90s. Bill Tierney and the Princeton Tigers own number 1, and Maryland aims to take it. A great crowd coming into Rutgers Stadium. This is a showdown in Division I lacrosse. The best are here to fight it out for the championship. It's the number 5 seed Maryland Terrapins taking on the defending champion, number 2 seed Princeton Tigers. The weather is absolutely perfect. It's cool and ready for a run-and-gun offense. Leif Ellsmo here for the play-by-play, joined by Quint Kesnick. Quint, these two teams met last year. They are loaded on both ends.
They are. Last year was a runaway. Maryland really got dismantled by Princeton. But this year, I think they're back with the strongest attack in the country, and that's led by Scott Hochstead, the junior from the Boys Latin School in Baltimore, Maryland. He's got 46 goals, 18 assists. He's a strong bulldodger with a blinding shot, about 42% from the field.
Now, when you look at Princeton, of course, everybody talks about their attack. They are really a big focal point. But it seems of late, the midfielders are coming up strong.
Yeah, no one leaves their attackman open, and that opens things up for Josh Sims, the sophomore. 31 goals, that's a Princeton record. Lately, he's just on fire. His last 12 goals have come on 19 shots. He has got game-breaking speed. Keep your eyes open for number 4, Josh Sims.
Well, of course, the face-offs are always important. Goalies we'll talk about in a while, but the face-offs will be our Nike face-to-face. Haggerty from Maryland can really control a game. This could be a problem for Princeton.
Brian Haggerty, he wins the faceoffs, but he also gets fast breaks. 63% on the season. He's about 65% in the playoffs. And Chris Berrier from Princeton, 52%, but they're struggling in the playoffs. Right now, Princeton's only winning about 40% of the faceoffs. Faceoffs and goaltending in a championship game, very crucial.
When we come back, they'll face off for the championship. They'll start the game right here at Rutgers Stadium. It's the Maryland Terrapins against the Princeton Tigers. Today's championship game is brought to you by Chili's Bar and Grill, home of the Ranch Hand Filet. We're back at Rutgers Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey. Leif Ellsmo, Quint Kesnick. The Maryland team, Quint, coming charging on late. They held out as long as they could in the locker rooms. Dicky Dell bringing his team on for the championship. They are trying to unseed the team of the 90s. Princeton has won 92, 94, 96, 97, and they are threatening to three-peat. But Maryland has had a well-balanced, strong team, and they are challenging these Princeton Tigers.
The Tigers have the dynasty of the 90s. They have won 42 of their last 43 games. The last 2 games, they've looked a little susceptible, a little rusty. In the quarterfinals against Duke, they trailed 8-4. And on Saturday, they trailed Syracuse 8-4 before rallying to outscore the Orangemen 5-1 in the 4th quarter. So this is a team looking for the three-peat.
Series history, Maryland leads 28-9, 1 tie, 0-2 in the tournament, 97-92. Most of that history is ancient history. Of course, the 70s, one team today will be honored from Maryland. The last team, 25 years ago, they won that championship. Dicky Dell has not won the championship in Division I. This is a chance, maybe his best chance to do it, because he has a team that is really solid, very loaded.
Take a look at the last year's championship game, a game in which Princeton led 8-0 at one point. It was really completely domination. Hubbard with 4 goals, and John Hess was the tournament MVP. Different scenario for Maryland this year. They have a better goalie, they have a better face-off man, and Bill Tierney right there today playing without a starting defenseman, Christian Cook. So Princeton a little susceptible today if they can't win face-offs, and their goaltending hasn't been as strong this year either.
And Maryland, of course, senior leadership in all the right places. They've got a great attack of their own. They've got guys in the midfield that can score. They've got a guy on the defensive end, Mike Bonanni, who not necessarily the best defender down there, but he's a team leader, and he really adds depth to the defensive end. They are a tough, well-balanced team.
And they play a lot of players. They play over 30 players per game. They substitute liberally on the sideline, get a lot of guys in the action. They want an up-tempo game. They want the ball on the ground. You'll see a lot of red bodies flying. They want an up-tempo, fast-paced game.
You know what's interesting? We talked to Dicky Dell, And he talked about mimicking the defense of Princeton. Most teams have been beaten by the defense of Princeton, so they are starting to mimic that style. Meanwhile, over here, Coach Tierney, huge loss when Christian Cook, this man, his captain, who shut down Casey Powell, literally put the lid on him to get them to this final. Tierney talked about Christian Cook, but first we'll show you how he matches up. This was the semifinal. Did a great job.
He held Casey Powell to 3 shots, no goals, and actually scored a goal of his own, his first of the season. Big emotional play, and after the game accepted the congratulations of his teammates. But Christian Cook not in uniform today, the senior from Denver, Colorado. That's a shot of Cook on the sideline live. He will be replaced by Jason Farrell, number 45, a junior from Corning East, who has seen a lot of time. And we'll also see Ted Martell, one of their long stick midfielders, play down and on the close defense.
Cook had an MRI yesterday. It is an ACL tear, and he wanted to go after it again, but that's not going to happen. In the goal, Popham. This is a big story. Corey Popham on the right. 8 goals against, but you can credit the defense of Princeton for that number. 25, Kevin Healy, very strong, big, much bigger than their starter last year. He is probably the best goalie right now in the Final Four.
Healy is. Popham's been struggling in the playoffs.
Here's a fast break off the faceoff. They didn't get a shot. Hoxton did not take it, but just as we suggested, Haggerty squirted the ball out for a faceoff.
Haggerty loves the reverse clamp, and that's a move where he pushes the ball forward to himself. And he's so quick, he's built low, scoots down for the fast break. He loves to pop it to himself.
Maryland in the red with the black shorts and Princeton in the all-white. Easy to distinguish these teams as Hahn starts the ball behind. He is the true finisher. Maryland, a lot of interchangeable parts as far as these 6 offensive players are concerned. Big shot from out front by Zeller, and backed up beautifully.
Princeton's defense, they will let you dodge down the side. As you dodge down the side, your angle decreases. So they encourage you to dodge down the side. They protect the middle of the field so well.
Zeller comes back to set a pick for Whipple. Number 1 is the quarterback on this team, played by John Harrington. He's got to be the guy to handle it. That is when they're most successful. This is Raiden up top, got a great right hand, comes down left. Overhand shot and comes off of Popham. So Popham made a nice block there, but here comes Maryland again. Back behind to X. They're going to put pressure. Big shot coming here. And Popham makes a sensational save. Right in his stick, actually, the shot. Not a huge test by Bill Rule, but Popham has blocked 2 to start this game.
And coming off a rough game against Syracuse, he actually played a great 4th quarter. But key for his confidence, make those 2 big saves early. Give your defense some confidence in your ability in the cage, and also get comfortable with these Maryland shooters.
So, as always, Princeton will give you possessions, but they rarely give you the good shot or the goal. And so far, that's been the case. Hoxton with a great check to get it back. Now controls. He's being double-teamed. Continues to hold the ball. Finally gets it back to Zeller, who gets stripped there by the defense of Princeton. They are all over you if you stand. One more time. Rule comes up. Goes for the corner. And Bill Rule was trying to light up the upper left.
Bill Rule and Bob Hanna, number 35 from Maryland, they are absolute cannons from the outside. They can shoot the ball about 95 miles an hour. Take a look at Bill Tierney, 4 national championships, his 13th season at Princeton. Just a terrific winning percentage, around 77%. They win close ball games in the NCAAs.
Zeller with Lawrence Smith playing defense against him, just loses the ball. Maryland picks it up again. Whipple being charged from behind. He gets inside, and Popham makes another block. Nice save by Popham. Nice sliding defense by Barrier and Smith all over Whipple. They're attacking the short sticks. This is Smith, the great offensive player. That's the goalie, Popham.
Watch the save again. He just holds his ground here. Nice size goalie. Doesn't have much angle to shoot at there, and Whipple bounces the ball off the shoulder of Popham. Right now you can see Princeton's defense very aggressive. They love the double teams. Maryland's got to make that extra pass. 2 or 3 passes.
Big shot from out front. Maryland draws first blood. And it's a rocket from Zeller. He had Lawrence Smith playing defense. They had Lawrence Smith, their offensive star, playing a lot of D down there. The whole team was looking to back up, but it was a radar shot that just hit the top, and 1-0 Maryland leads.
Zeller is fantastic on the right-handed sweep. Here he is, just driving right-handed, and when you're on the run like that, it's tough to pick up the ball coming out of his stick. 20 goals on the season. He was kind of quiet in the semifinals. He had a huge quarterfinal game, 3 goals against Hopkins, including the game winner in overtime. He is a playoff player. Last year had a terrific NCAA tournament.
Well, Barrier comes in to take the second faceoff for Princeton, and just like in the semifinal, when number 1 guy, Barrier rather, didn't do well, it's Baylor that came in and did do well, and Baylor gets the second faceoff of this game. Aggressive checking by Maryland, putting it back on the turf. Lamy gets it back to Maryland. Here they come. Maryland looking to fast break. They got Hanna to the left. Hanna gets it now. Looks inside, can't get the shot. Defender fell down for a moment. They had an opening. Luckenheimer lost his footing. Maryland being very selective when their fast breaks, Quint. They're getting the fast breaks, but twice they've elected to pull it back and settle the ball.
You can burn Princeton in transition. Their transition defense, that is not their strength defensively. But that time, I got to give them credit. They got back into the hole. They balanced the field. They kept their eyes open. And Maryland really didn't have anyone open in front. You can see the patience of Maryland, though. They're a smart team. I mean, if it's not there, they're not going to take it. Well, and you can see they like to play the 6-on-6 settle game. They can do it all.
Oxted anxious to let one fly there. They learned from last year, of course. They got really shelled by Princeton, and that one has been sitting on their minds for a full year. They are not going to be as aggressive in the offensive end. They'll pick their spot. 1-0 they lead, first quarter action. Lee Fusmo, Quint Kesenick with ESPN coverage of Division I Lacrosse Championship play. So now, no real hard shot in that offensive set. Typical Princeton defense, just gave you time on the clock, but no great shots. They bring it down.
We're 4 minutes into this game, and this is the first offensive possession for Princeton. Maryland really dominating in the time of possession.
Mike Bonanni gets the assignment on Hubbard. Behind the goal, Casey Connor, young sophomore against Hess, who really is the key to the offense.
John Hess, he's the quarterback, 35 assists, operates from behind the net. That's a primetime matchup. You stop Hess, you can really stifle the rest of their attack. The offense flows through Hess.
Hubbard right there with Bonanni. Bonanni, again, the spiritual leader of this defense. 5-year man who is now in his graduate school. 3.7 GPA at Maryland. Taking a lot of time. Seamus Grooms, who had 2 goals, gets it behind. Here comes Massey. Massey's looking for help up top. You'll see a shot coming here. Sims moving, shoots, and it comes off the defense. They did a great job of blocking the shot. It didn't even get through to Healy. Here goes Maryland, looking for help. Good run and gun by Jeff Burnham. Burnham getting turned back by Massey, and he'll be clubbed there. Massey picks up the ball.
Going to be a 10-second violation against Maryland. Nice job by Chris Massey cutting off Burnham. Burnham was forced to turn. You've got 10 seconds to get the ball out of the defensive box. Nice hustle. We've seen both teams. They ride, they forecheck extremely hard. They generate second chance opportunities.
Maryland now sets up their defense as Princeton gets Rob Torrey in there. Young freshman, number 1, as the ball moves behind all around. They are taking time to get some fresh legs on the field.
Second midfield for Princeton. It's Whaling, Torty, and they'll rotate that third spot.
Right now, Sprigg. This is Hubbard, the big right-handed shooter. Torty now comes in, tries to get Shirk picked off. And double team there, but he still has the ball. Hess way up top. This will be trouble. Shot and a nice block on the foot by Healy.
I think Shirk, number 37 for Maryland, got a piece of that as Massey let the left-handed crank go. Maryland doing a nice job getting to the Princeton shooters at the last second.
Ball coming into Hubbard. Hubbard behind the back. Ball down again on the field. Can they get the loose ball? Princeton all over him, riding hard. They push it up, and Torty will bring it down. Princeton riding hard and really have had a nice long possession going here on about their 3rd minute of constant offense.
Shirk had Pasqualina up the sideline. He elected to just heave the ball, and Torty had dropped back on defense. He was right there.
Hess turned into a little bit of a shooter. Watch the big shot here by Whaling. He is a defensive tackle in football. Loses about 25 pounds to come in here and play tough lacrosse for Princeton. Mark Whaling.
Actually an all-Ivy selection, defensive tackle, the captain here in lacrosse as well. One of the leaders, one of the senior leaders of this Princeton squad.
Connor trying to keep a stick in the face of John Hess. John Hess, not a huge target, 5'10", but boy, can he control the ball. Princeton now on a long run here of control. Ball behind, Shirk playing defense, driving with the ball. He's taking his time. A freshman, one-on-one, going to short stick. The slide by Bonanni blocks the feed, and Bonanni stays with him. Bonanni loves to come hard. Number 27, watch him. He calls a lot of the plays in there. He'll call the defensive sets, taking that pressure off of Healy. Only a sophomore. Healy is in the goal. Rob Torty behind the goal. Now he's got a short stick defender against him, Kevin Pasqualina. Up top, Whaling trying to get a good position for his shot.
Nice defense by Maryland. They're not playing over-aggressive on the ball. The midfielders, the defensive midfielders, Pasqualina and Shirk behind the cage will be tested in this set.
Again, the push all the way across, and here comes Maryland with the loose ball. But again, Princeton, as they have done 3 straight times, they're riding hard and keeping Maryland from clearing.
That's the 4th chance right now on this offensive possession. This has been about a 5-minute offensive possession. Actually, a 4-minute, and now Princeton will put their first midfielders back on the field. So this game started with Maryland controlling the first 4 minutes. Princeton has come back to control the next 4 minutes as we're halfway through the first quarter.
Both teams showing a lot of patience, trying to pick their spots to get good pressure on the goalies. Popham's been tested several times. 1 goal so far from Maryland. Ball picked off as they passed across, but again back to Princeton, who throws it out of bounds. Uncharacteristically, Lawrence Smith tried to sneak it into Massey. Massey was a little handcuffed. Ball goes out of bounds.
It was a little too close. Banani with the nice stick in the lane. He deflected the ball. But Maryland now with a 4th clearing chance that has failed. A little sloppy passing by Eric Osberg and Brian Reese. So they're forced to play defense again. It's got to be tiring for this Terrapin defense.
Can't give Princeton this many shots at an offensive opportunity. They will hit the net. Lawrence Smith brings it in. He was the midfield star, really an attackman who didn't want to sit on the bench behind the great attack, became a midfielder. Massey gives it back to John Hess. John Hess marked by the defense of Casey Connor. John Hess comes around, he can shoot. He has worked on being more of a shooter this year. Goes low, Healy blocks it, can't find the ball, finally does. Looks for an outlet. Crease violation. Let's see if they call push.
Banani dumped John Hess into the crease when Healy had the ball. That'll be interference. Big time save by Healy, but you can see Connor is struggling with Hess. Hess is very quick, and on this wet surface, it rained earlier. Connor's having problems keeping up with Hess. His quickness is really a factor.
Ball way out front now, and Lawrence Smith with a great size advantage gets double teamed. He comes inside still, finds the lower left corner, and after a 6-minute possession, Princeton ties it. Surgical precision, confidence of a champion. It's 1-1.
Lawrence Smith unassisted. That's a look at Christian Cook. The defender is out of the game. Lawrence Smith, last year a first-team All-American, his 20th goal of the season. Here it is again. Just slides through the double team, bears in. It looked like Healy got a piece of that, but Princeton's on the board after just a terrific offensive possession. Lawrence Smith, 6'3", 190. Watch him use his size right here, and he slices through that double team. He can be in so many ways. He's very dangerous off the ball as a cutter. That time you can see his dodging ability. We're tied up at 1.
Haggerty on the next faceoff. It really was picked up initially by Baylor, but Haggerty chased him down. No fast break, but another possession for Maryland. Now it's been a while since the ball's been back here. Let's see what they do. Scott Hockstead takes the ball behind. Haggerty still on the field. Pasqualina takes it from him. Now they'll change. Haggerty will come off the field. Brian Haggerty goes off. Frank Radin, 16 with the ball. Here comes a little bit of motion. Zeller running. Down low to Andrew Whipple. Then the Hahn off the pipe. Hahn was there for the shot he wanted, and he just hit the pipe. Princeton doing a great job of moving the ball upfield.
Got a flag down. It's going to be a foul against Maryland. Their attack is very physical. Hockstead, Hahn, and Whipple love to ride. They love to forecheck. That looks like it's going to be a hold. Watch the save. I think he got a piece of it, and then the ball hit the post. Zeller tried to come up with a loose ball, and there's going to be some kind of holding violation in here. I think it's against 24 Hockstead. Let's see right here. No, actually, it's against Radin right there. That's going to be a holding violation as he takes down the Tiger. So Princeton will go on the extra man. Very dangerous extra man unit for Princeton. 39 to 40% on the season. These guys can light it up.
So Maryland puts themselves in a real pressure situation here. Sims out front. This is Hubbard and Smith on the far side. Hess in front, easy shot, nobody on John Wynn. And Wynn cranks in goal number 2. Princeton scores 2 straight. This one an extra man play. Maryland put themselves in a bad spot there. Princeton gets their first lead of the day.
Princeton was 3 for 6 on their extra man. Watch the pinpoint passing. Wynn just finds the seam of the defense. Maryland's extra man defense not very strong. Teams are scoring about 35% on them. Again, Hess to Wynn. It doesn't get any easier than that. That is a tough unit to stop. They've got the 5 stars we talked about, plus that man right there, John Wynn, 13th goal of the season. Most of those goals happen on the extra man. He's tough inside. You've got to stop him and then worry about the outside shooters like Hubbard and Massey.
Haggerty again comes up in the faceoff against Matt Baylor. And good success by Brian Haggerty from our Nike face-to-face. We knew he would be important. But the critical thing here, Quint, and we talk about it all the time, Princeton knows they're going to give you face-offs and control the ball, but you've got to get shots and quality shots. That's what they don't give you.
No, they don't. This defense is so tough. The loss of Christian Cook, it's a monumental loss, but it's not a killer loss because this is a team concept, this team defense, this system that Coach Kearney has so effectively used. It's really not based on one man.
Jason Farrell, the new starter, number 45, in the middle of that pack, right there on Hockstead. Frank Radin takes the ball, gives it back to Scott Hockstead. That's the new guy, Jason Farrell, coming in there and takes a big shot. That's Hockstead, and it's swept to the right. Popham looks very strong. He's had a couple early ones that actually hit him easier saves, and he got strong with those early saves.
He did, and he played well in the fourth quarter of the semifinal. He really bared down. Syracuse, remember, only scored 1 goal in that fourth quarter. Today, this is the best I've seen Corey Popham play this season.
Jason Farrell playing on Scott Hockstead, who gets in front of the goal a lot on these sets. As Zeller behind, nice check. Beautiful check by Princeton. They put it on the floor. Seamus Grooms just spotted his check and put it down. Maryland showing the aggression we talked about. They really ride hard. Both teams do. Ball will stay here. Maryland possession. They're in the red with the black. 2-1 Princeton leads first quarter.
Zeller, a lot of quickness. 5'10", 200 pounds. He likes to lean in, give you a bump, and then either sweep for the right hand or dip underneath. Take a look at the shots right now. Maryland with 9. Popham's done a great job. Princeton with 6. And one of the longest offensive possessions early on in the first quarter that I've ever seen. They really control the ball efficiently.
Frank Radin coming down, giving it back to Zellers. They've inverted a little bit here and don't handle it cleanly. Scott Hockstead could not pick it up. They'll try to get it back to him. Push call.
Hubbard.
Against Hubbard, I believe.
Gave Benani a little bump. Benani sensed the pressure on his back and just fell to the grass. The key there is Benani got the inside position. He got to the line first. He stepped in front, and Hubbard was forced to push him.
Maryland not showing the precision they had in the semifinal against Loyola. A little bit tight, as you might expect in a championship game. This is Zeller. He's got good speed, gets inside barrier, takes the hard shot. Popham again with a block. He has been sensational. The story early on is Popham making about 4 saves when he only had 8 the whole game before.
Popham's got his body in the right spot. He does not catch the ball very often and gives up a ton of rebounds, but right now, he's the difference in this ball game. He's made about 5 brilliant stops. That time, Zeller got some good velocity behind that right-handed shot.
Well, he's credited with 4 saves and only 2 for Healy, who's had tougher shots on him. Princeton really taking their time down there. Massey showing great speed, and he's being ragged hard by the big stick of Brian Reese. Seamus Grooms, 23, had a big day yesterday. Number 23 had 2 goals. Mark Whaling gets it up top. That's Josh Sims. This is a good unit, number 1 unit for Princeton. Grooms comes in, goes high. They're going to call him for a push or a crease violation.
Crease violation.
Far referee looks like he was getting ready to call a push. Near referee, we got a crease violation.
Yeah, they were looking at each other, wondering who was going to blow their whistle. But Shirk does a nice job keeping Seamus Grooms underneath. That is a low percentage shot, really a turnover. There's nowhere for him to go right there.
See if they get this clear going. They've had trouble getting it past. Now a settled clear, no problem. The unsettled clear, Princeton has been all over them. 2-1, you see the score, they still lead. There's a 1-0 score for Maryland, and then 2 straight for Princeton, the last of an extra man play. Marcus LaChapelle. Maryland's still trying to get one of their A shots. Chris Malone.
They'll need 2 or 3 passes to get one of those A shots. Princeton is so aggressive defensively. They double and triple team. You've got to draw the double team and kick it to a teammate, and usually it takes 2 or 3 passes, not just 1.
Whipple has Harrington on him. Gives it back to Chris Malone. This is a freshman that's really added some punch and depth to the midfields. Scott Hockstead has really been the all-around guy. We focused on him. He's number 24 right now. He has been the big-time shooter for Maryland. Tries to go far side. That's exactly the pass that Princeton wants you to try to make, and they pull it right down.
It's tough to throw through so many of those long defensive sticks.
And here comes Seamus Grooms. Hubbard. Big matchup there, Jason Carrier. Massey will control the ball for a little while, and he's got a load on him. That's Chris Lamey. Lamey from Maryland, 6'5".
They've got to try to get Laney matched up with Josh Sims right here. This is a mismatch. Sims has got great speed.
Well, Sims was caught on the field there against Pasqualina. Like the matchup.
Sims is going to run by Pasqualina or Osborg or Shirk. They've got to get a long stick, either Reese or Lamy up to cover number 4, Josh Sims, that man right there. Blinding speed. Keeps it simple. He just puts it in a full gear, puts the turbo on, and runs right by it.
I'd be tempted to slide early on him because, he's not showing very many assists. He's not looking to assist. He's just cranking it up. I'd send the park off after.
I agree. He's got 4 assists on the season and almost 70 shots. So really almost 9 times out of 10, he's going to let it go. He's not looking to a teammate.
Less than a minute, as you can see, in the first quarter. Princeton with that 2-1 lead on 2 straight goals after Maryland got the early goal in this championship game. Rematch of last year, but a much different setting. Princeton was off to such a quick lead last year against a team that of Maryland players that had to fight uphill the whole championship bracket.
They were a Cinderella story in '97, Maryland. They beat Virginia by a goal. Then they beat Syracuse by a goal in a semifinal game. A great high-scoring game. Took a lot out of them. They had nothing left for the Princeton Tigers.
Hochstedt draws a foul. Now they're going to try to get a shot up top. You'll have one here if they can get inside. Zeller can't find room. They'll get a free shot. Now they have to look about possession, Quint. They'll have a penalty if they get a shot here. Big shot and a foul after that almost. Frank Braden got ripped to the ground after he took a high shot. And it'll be a personal foul or a hold call, they'll say, against Hochstedt.
Maryland should hold the ball here, and then they will get the ball to start the second quarter. There's 7 seconds left. If they hold it, if it's in their stick here as time runs out, they will possess the ball in the second quarter. I doubt they will attack right away.
Andrew Whipple just walked up, talked to the guys, made sure they were all on the same page about what they're going to do here. But Q had it right on the numbers. If you had the ball in your stick, the key here is maybe the ball has to be in your stick. If you're throwing it from one guy to the next and it's in the mid-flight between them, you lose the ball, and then you have to go to a face-off next quarter. Watch out, Hochstedt. He slipped, but did not lose the ball to Harrington. That's how the first quarter will end. When the second quarter starts, they'll have an extra man and possession. Right now, Princeton leads by 1. It's a low-scoring game with the championship on the line. And the story so far has been excellent goaltending from an unsuspecting source. Popham, has been a great goalie at times this year, Quint, but today been sensational.
He has been sensational. Robbing rule, and then watch him just move his body in front of this Zeller crank from the outside, gets his face mask on it. If Corey Popham can make about 60% today, Princeton is looking strong. Remember, he had been struggling coming into this game in the playoffs, only about 40% save percentage in his last 6 games. There has been a goalie controversy at Princeton. Trevor Tierney, the coach's son, is the backup. He had to save this Princeton team in the quarterfinals against Duke.
Extra man play as we start the second quarter. This is a chance for Maryland to put some heat on Popham. Let's see if they can get a good shot. All the way out here, it's going to come some velocity. And Bill Roll put it high, but Popham right there.
Great save. Take a look at the first quarter stats. Shots, Maryland, slight advantage. Maryland face-offs, Haggerty doing a great job, 3-1. Ground balls, the Terrapins with a slight advantage also.
And I'll tell you the difference also in the offensive end for Maryland against Loyola. They were pinging the corners so far today. They're either hitting meat or missing the cage.
That was a great piece Popham got on Rule's shot. Rule, remember, can shoot 95 miles an hour. You've got less than a quarter of a second as a goalie to react to that shot.
Well, teams were at even strength, and Whipple tried to slide in there and push it. Ball checked out of bounds, but last touch by Hochstedt. It'll still be Princeton's ball. So Maryland not looking as crisp as they did against Loyola. Still a low-scoring game. Princeton, we have seen them so many times, Quint, methodically just work themselves through a game, and then in the fourth quarter, they take over.
They do, and it's all based on defense. Remember, this is a team that hasn't let up more than 10 goals in any game this season.
Except the semifinal to Syracuse.
No, they let up 10 goals in that game. Right. They haven't let up more than 10. And so you're in every game. Automatically, with this attack and a defense like that, you're in every game. And if you don't make mistakes, you're going to win those games.
Lawrence Smith, great shooter, was the best in the midfield until Sims came on board. Number 4, they're both out there, giving a lot of firepower to Princeton. They start behind with John Hess, Chris Massey here, and work it around through Spencer Bogert. Josh Sims up top, getting a long pole on him now. The big check of Jeff Burnham on Josh Sims. That's Jesse Hubbard, U.S. team member, number 16 for Princeton in the far corner as they keep the possession going. Now they're going to do a little bit of a rotation with Lawrence Smith driving in. Hubbard will take it backside. Here's a shot by Massey, just chipped by a defensive player.
That play worked to perfection. That was a pattern play where Lawrence Smith draws the double team, he kicks it behind, and then Massey comes off the double screen for the left-handed shot. A perfect play. Maryland's got to do a better job off the ball covering the attackers.
Big check at the last moment by Casey Connor. Took away the shot of Hess. Coach Tierney talked about John Hess becoming a shooter, and there was a prime example of how he can challenge the defense. Casey Connor showed some moxie there, Quint. He waited to the last minute, just calmly took away the shot. Jess Hubbard. Goes behind to John Hess. And still a matchup there. Casey Connor. Jesse Hubbard, the biggest, the strongest of the attack three. Lawrence Smith, great range for him. A lot like Josh Sims, who got a check there. Here goes the ball on the ground. Can they take it up? Big check for Maryland. Can they push? Jeff Burnham's got some wheels. He's got Scott Hockstead to the far side. Hockstead locks and loads. Can't see any opening. He'll try to get a shot off. He's got three guys on him. Gives it back to Burnham, who can't get it cleanly, and the ball's back on Princeton's side. Another opportunity where Maryland would normally get a shot, and Quint, they're a little bit tight.
Burnham could not handle Spencer Bogger from Princeton. Great play there, coming through that pack of players and getting that loose ball. A prime example, a turnover by Maryland, now leading to another Princeton possession. They're just playing too much defense at this stage.
Princeton looking to come up with another loose ball, but Maryland all over him. Connor working hard. Hess comes up with the possession. Watch him move it backside. Jesse Hubbard. Hubbard will wheel inside. He's got great size. Big block by Healy. Holy smokes, they're giving it back to Princeton.
They're calling a push on Bonanni. Didn't see it that way from here. It looked like Hubbard
had made a decision.
He jumped himself.
He had made a decision to go in the crease. No question about it. I don't think it would have mattered what Bonanni did. He was launching himself for a shot. Ball goes back to Princeton.
They're saying that he was pushed into the crease.
Princeton again, watch it. Front. Massey gets a nifty shot. He got a little bit of room there, just turned and wheeled and beats Healy. 3-1 the score. Time and time again, Princeton gets a second shot, third shot, fourth shot at the defense of Maryland.
Massey, number 2 at Princeton in career goals behind Hubbard. Here's the ISO on Chris Massey, the senior from Garden City. Just catches and fires. Nothing Healy can do from close range. Nice feed by Rob Torty, the freshman, in front. Massey, great possession by Princeton. Really generated the second chance opportunity by that push call. That push call came back to haunt Maryland. Big factor right there.
Looking at Chris Massey now back to the faceoff. It's Haggerty in there against Barrier for Princeton. And Barrier held Haggerty. It'll go to Maryland. From my vantage point, Quint, we talked about Scott Hockstead, how important he is. Seems like he's holding the ball too much. Every time they get the ball in that offensive end, he is not giving it up right away. He's looking as if he has to be the one to take the shot a little bit.
Princeton gets out and they play you. When he's the point man on a fast break, they're not going to give Scott Hockstead a 5-yard cushion. I've seen teams this year give him a little shooting space.
Hockstead
Coach
again.
Bill Tierney knows you can't give Scott Hockstead room to look at the page.
Well, Scott Hockstead, the youngest of the three on attack, and he's holding the ball a lot. That's what Princeton loves an attack player to do. Hold the ball because they will eat you up. Coach Edel knows they have to move the ball to make it work against the Princeton defense. Scott Hockstead taking a little bit too much on himself right now. He's a sensational player, a game breaker, and a lot of time left for him to make an impact. 3-1. 3 straight goals for Princeton after Maryland opened up the scoring today. This is Whipple going against the defensive checks of John Harrington. Hahn, the backside, gets the feed. Look at the aggressive check there as Luckenheimer comes and puts some plastic in his chest. The double team again. Maryland cannot sit with the ball. They continue to do so. Chris Malone protects it, does a nice job. Marcus LaChapelle goes right into the doubles.
You cannot run away from the double team. That gives the defense a chance to reset and find their men. You've got to pass it as soon as you sense that double team. The backside is open. On the far side of the field, Princeton will leave you wide open. It's a tough pass to make.
Whipple getting stripped by Harrington, but picks it back up. Harrington getting a little more confidence now as he starts getting more aggressive with his checks on Whipple. Whipple, a lot like Hess, protects the ball beautifully. And this is young Chris Malone. Hahn, the finisher, goes back behind.
You can see how Princeton just protects the middle of the field. Maryland operating way outside, 18 to 20 yards away from the cage. They're not a threat to score from out there.
This is Marcus LaChapelle, Marcus LaChapelle trying to get open. Double team coming again. Malone's got to look for help. Can't find it. Can't find it. Princeton getting continually more confidence as Maryland tries to throw it into the middle. And they give it back to Princeton. Nice defensive job. Textbook Princeton defense, and Maryland's offense just rattled, not really busting it like they did on the drawing board, I'm sure, before this game.
That's right. They double and triple team you. Anytime you turn your back to the goal, very impressive defensive series right there for the Princeton Tigers.
It's all about ball movement against the Princeton defense, and Maryland knows that. And I know Scott Hochstead knows that. The moment kind of takes over when you're in a championship game, Quint. Josh Sims comes in, great speed here as he locks in against the defense of Jeff Burnham. Burnham's a tough matchup for Sims. Lawrence Smith, both these midfielders, a lot of size. He's right out of bounds off the stick. Spencer Bogger, and look at Tierney, not liking that play. Very rare that this coach will see that.
Very rare, and he gets in Lawrence Smith's face. The junior from the Gilman School, just some sloppy passing. Too long of a pass right there. Maryland, they've been held scoreless, 18-55. They got this game going with a goal at about the 4-minute mark. Since then, it's been all the Princeton defense. Popham really hasn't even been tested here in the second quarter.
Well, they gave him a good start by giving him some, I guess, easier saves, but Popham has added to those easy saves with some real strong goaltending. So he looks tough as Maryland comes down, and Eric Osberg tries to go one-on-one here with Winship Ross. Looking to get it to Hahn. Off of Princeton. Popham appealing that call to the far ref. Doesn't get any benefit. Maryland's sort of out of sync, Quint. We saw them really do everything perfectly against Loyola. I think you talked about it then. I said, how do you follow up that game? Everything went perfectly.
And look at the defensive pressure. Against Loyola, they had time, room, and space to operate and to find one another. Today, it's a different story. When there's a stick in your gloves, you've got to make a quick decision, and it's difficult.
Whipple's getting doubled, looking for help. Whipple very shifty with the stick. He's got to get rid of it. He gets triple teamed and waits till the ball gets checked. Unbelievable how they're going back to that holding kind of bad habits of last year.
We're going to have a 20-second timeout called by Maryland. They've got guys open. When Whipple had that, the guys on the backside, behind the cage, and on the near side, about 20 yards away, are open. They've got to condense their offense and make those passes easier. Don't forget about the Major League doubleheader. You can see the Detroit Tigers against the Cleveland Indians at 1:15 p.m. That's Eastern time. The Tigers with Damian Easley. The Indians, David Justice. This is one to watch. Then follow that with the Los Angeles Dodgers against the Houston Astros. That's a 4 p.m. Eastern time start, all on ESPN. Meanwhile, Dickie Dell trying to get them back on track. This team is not doing what they drew up on the boards. Their offense is out of sync. You got to credit the Princeton defense. You can see the ball's up top right here, and because the player's behind the cage, uncovered, Whipple can't find him. He is open behind the net, and there's another man to the right of the screen you can't see who is open. That's a long pass. You can see Hahn with his stick up, but there's no way Whipple can make that 20-yard pass while he's being double-teamed and harassed. The players are open, but it's a very difficult pass. Princeton, they protect the middle of the field, and they give you that lob pass. When you make it, that gives them time to get back in position. They want the weak side is open. And they want you to try the lane passing because they'll cut the lanes down. You've got to go one over or down the side. Down the side. Exactly. Down the side, behind the cage. Listen to us. Like, we know those guys are out there. They've studied it more than anybody. It's tough. When they're out there covering you in your face, it's difficult to make that pass. Let's see if they can get back on track with some good shots. Radin comes in, tests Popham. Yes! He tests them there, and a big hit will give a penalty. This could be a momentum shift. Radin finally puts a little heat on Popham. He goes 5-hole to make it 3-2 and draws the foul. That couldn't have been better. That's going to be a 1-minute foul against Princeton. Maryland will control the ball here without a faceoff. That was a dead ball. It was a late hit. Radin looks like he's seriously hurt. His 16th goal of the year. Great change of direction. Frank Radin had a big game against Loyola in the semifinals. 1 goal and 3 assists. if he's out, this will really hurt Maryland. He's one of their penetrators from up top. One of their main scoring threats, a guy who can pierce this defense. Here it is again. Watch the high to low jump shot right there. Tough for the goalie to get his stick down to the turf and make that save.
And Quentin, nothing very tricky about it. We saw a lot of this against Loyola. A lot of running, hard shots, test the goalie, and the big hit there.
There's the hit by Farrell, the man substituting from Corning East High School. He's in this game for Christian Cook, and you can see the late hit right there. And that will be a 1-minute foul. Actually, they gave it to Martell, number 35. It should have been 45. But now Maryland will have an extra man, and they're only down by 1.
We'll come back to our second quarter action. Princeton leads by 1. We're back to an extra man play that has gone nowhere for Maryland. Princeton making a nice save and getting the ball down to their offensive end. But Maryland comes right back. Hahn, they're still extra, 6-on-5. They scored the last goal. Radin drew the foul, and they'll have a few more moments on this extra man play, 6-on-5. Didn't really get a good shot first time around. Here comes Zeller, and a big save by Popham. Put it right in his chest.
Popham seems strong high. That Radin goal went 5-hole. Maryland better off maybe take some overhand shots down low.
Well, they skipped a man there, and he ripped rope. He went high that time. Hanna, they skipped a man to Hanna down low, and boy, he just sized up the upper bar, and nobody could have made that save. 3-3.
That ball is absolutely moving. You can see that man, Corey Popham, done a great job. But watch the ball movement on the extra man. They get it top side, and then Hanna, they split the D right there with the seam pass. He's got time and room, and just an absolute cannon to the near corner.
That's the kind of accuracy we saw a lot of against Loyola. A lot of rip and rope in the corner.
Again, no Princeton defenseman out challenging him in the shooting lane. He's got time to look at the goal, find the spot, and let it rip. And there's no one better right now in this game than the lefty Bob Hanna with time and room.
Well, they left him in there for that fast break with Haggerty. Haggerty got the face-off, no fast break. And Maryland back with the possession. They've scored 2 straight after a 3-goal run by Princeton. And now the game is tied at 3. It's been a little bit of a possession kind of war here, Quint. Maryland had early possessions. Princeton took it over for about 6 minutes, got that lead. Now Maryland has come back and resettled their offense.
Both teams, their extra mans, have accounted for 1 goal apiece. That foul came back to haunt Princeton. In a game like this, face-offs, goaltending, and the penalties, your extra man and man-down units, so important.
Hochstad again making a lot of anxious moments out there. Hochstad running hard, can't get it to Marcus LaChapelle. Barrier came right in there with Seamus Grooms, rather. Grooms was doing a great job of hustling in. They call him for a push. That was a nice hustling play by Grooms.
LaChapelle turned at the last second. There was nothing Grooms could do. He had already...
Big shot from out front. Guess who that was from? A left-handed howitzer, Bob Hanna. Marcus LaChapelle. Here's Hanna again as they try to get open. He'll get doubled very quickly.
Maryland moving the ball a little better on this possession. They're zipping it around.
Whipple going far side. This is the open man. Big shot there, and he misses the cage. Hanna can't believe it. Nice play for Whipple to find him. It's a dangerous pass, but if you can cut that seam and get it past the Princeton players, it's a challenge for Popham.
The open man is always away from the ball when you're playing Princeton.
Oh, a give and go to Hahn, rather. That was textbook Maryland play. Hochstead got doubled, gave it over to Whipple, and Hahn started his cut.
Hahn is always flowing towards the ball with that right hand. He and Whipple, the dynamic duo, they've really reset the record book here at Maryland. Hahn, the all-time leading goal scorer. There's been some great players that play for the Terrapins over the years.
At the halftime of today's game, they will be honoring the 25-year anniversary of the 73 team. The 70s were really a team, or a decade controlled by Maryland and Cornell, and that was a year that Maryland won. That team will be here to be honored. Princeton, big block by the stick of Maryland. Ball goes out of bounds. Nice play by the defense of Jeff Shirk. They gobbled up the shot before it left the stick of Seamus Grooms, and then he just chases it to the sideline.
Shirk's a great-looking athlete. His father, tight end Gary Shirk for the New York Giants, played at Mountain Lakes in New Jersey, getting better and better. A little raw when he came to Maryland as far as his lacrosse skills, but athletically, certainly a Division I athlete.
Well, 4 minutes to go in this half. You can just forget about all that's happened because the score is tied at 3. And I think right about now, both teams look more comfortable, Quint, than they did early on.
After that
Princeton, of course, always comfortable. They've been here. But Maryland, I thought, a little shaky as far as the comfort level.
Early stages of the second quarter, they were not reacting well to this Princeton defense. Timeout, Coach Marr and Coach Adele settled the troops down, convinced them that they've got to move the ball.
Zeller gets up to Raiden. Raiden took the big hit earlier. It looked like he's going to be all right. A little shake and bake. He's doubled, looks for help. Far side now behind. They're getting good ball movement here. Rule trying to get the right hand unloaded. Whipple looks for the target. Here comes Hockstead, and a nice save by Popham. Great job. Hockstead showed low the whole way, and Popham was there to eat it up. Player down for Princeton.
Looks like Lunkenheimer, after coming out and playing Hockstead, is down.
Well, this would be devastating.
This would be
for
the
this team.
second starting defenseman to go down. Popham, a nice save against Hockstead. Again, a lot of rebounds in front. Popham is not known for his ability to catch the ball cleanly. Maryland's got to jump all over those loose balls. There he is, Corey Popham.
Let me tell you something odd, Quint, isn't it? Am I mistaken? This was the exact same spot that Christian Cook went down on this field. It was in that same area that Cook went down.
A little closer to the sideline. He's back on his feet. Looked like a little ankle twisting. Kurt Lunkenheimer has started in every game. He's a junior at Princeton. Corey Popham, great save against Hockstead. Down low, he got his stick down to the turf.
Lunkomaniacs. Hess, Hubbard, and Massey, they've rewritten a lot of the record books. Take a look at these numbers they carry into this game. And you can't do it any better than that. This trio has really been a focus because of these great numbers. Today, they're a factor just by being on the field. They open up so many things for everybody else.
John Hess had a hamstring injury throughout the majority of this season. Only had 12 goals, but 35 assists. And I think he's playing, he looks real quick today. He's got, I think, a little mismatch. I think Connor and Carrier are having problems staying with his quickness.
Princeton now gets the ball back, and they will have a chance to have the last shot of the half. I think probably that's what Coach Bill Tierney would like. 3 minutes left. Too early, Quint?
A little too early.
John Hess behind as they get into their motion offense. Mark Whaling trying to get it behind off the stick of Connor, so it'll stay down here with Hess.
Nice job by Connor, only a sophomore from the Calvert Hall School in Baltimore.
He's keeping a lot of distance between Hess and the goal, respecting Hess's quickness. Lawrence Smith now, they set him up for the right-handed drive. All the way in, watch out, the ball couldn't stay in Sims' stick. Boy, he had a target there if he only could have collected the ball. Timeout called for possession by Maryland. That really benefited them because they got it deep in on the sideline. They will have possession for the next 2:17, a chance to make it a 4-3 game. Right now it's tied, second quarter. We're back at Rutgers Stadium, 3-3. The Terrapins and Tigers score all knotted up. It was a 3-goal run for the Tigers to give them a 3-1 lead. Then 2 goals straight by the Terrapins to even it up. The NHL Stanley Cup playoffs continue on ESPN. The Eastern Conference Finals, Game 2 tonight at 7:30, right here on ESPN. Hasek had a 2-0 shutout in Game 1. The Sabres lead 1-0 in games. This is a best-of-7 series. Watch it tonight on ESPN, 7:30 Eastern. Meanwhile, Maryland gets the ball back in a possession timeout. Critical possession at the end of this first half, Quint. We've seen it go back one end to the other. And Princeton doing a good job of getting the good shots. They just mishandled that last one, but that would have been tough for Healy to save.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of little gimmicks inside. That time, Sims came off the double pick. It was there. He looked to shoot the ball really before he had it secured in the top of his pocket.
Zeller all the way out to Raiden after Hahn cut underneath him to open it up. Big shot there by Raiden. Raiden is the one guy not afraid to put some heat on it and test Popham. He's got 1 goal already. And behind this is Hockstead. Hockstead, such a sensational player who has meant so much to this program. He seems to be pressing a little bit. Now looking to give the ball up. Of course, nobody's moving to give him some help. Whipple behind the goal. Hockstead again opens it up. Double coming. Off to Whipple. Backdoor pass. Out to Zeller. and he can't get past the defense. Great defense by Princeton. Hahn gets nailed, and the defense was absolutely perfect from the Princeton Tigers.
They got the second and then third slide up the field, a rotating defense, and Hahn is decked as Princeton's coach, Bill Tierney, calls another possession-saving timeout. You can see Matt Hahn and Hochstead, a little frustration right there. Nice ball movement, but watch Hahn catch the ball inside and turn, and he's just leveled. Great
Barrier.
defense by Chris Barrier, sliding upfield. They rotate the defense. Great communication defensively. We can't hear all their communication with each other, but Hahn really has not been a factor. They've got to spread this Princeton defense out and jam the ball inside if Hahn is going to be effective in this game.
I think that's the kind of pass, though, Princeton loves you to take where the man's not moving. When Hahn is really dangerous when he's coming on a slashing move.
And the ball's behind the cage. When the ball's up top, Hahn's not as much of a threat. He's got to catch it, turn towards the cage, and shoot, and that takes time, and that's all the time that the Princeton defense needs to rotate up the field.
Matt Hahn has been sensational this whole season and his career. They've rewritten a lot of numbers. Matt Hahn has rewritten the record books for Maryland.
Against Loyola, he had 5 goals. Tough player. He'll take the hit any day of the week to get the goal. Most comfortable, though, when he's facing the cage, looking directly at it. And you talk about consistency. This guy, unbelievable. At least 1 point in every game he has played as a Maryland Terrapin, 61, and he is the all-time leading goal scorer with over 150 career goals.
Long way to go in this one, but he does not have a point yet. So the big guns, Hochstead and Hahn, not heard from at this point.
1 minute remaining in the first half.
Lawrence Smith working the near side. Shirk lining up defensively on him. Chris Massey takes the ball behind and now gives it out to John Hess. So many weapons as they set up. Seamus Grooms, they're looking at the clock. They want the one shot, the last shot. A few times around before they set up their rotation. They've gotten people open in the middle. Lawrence Smith again. Josh Sims is on the field. Watch him, number 4. He's being played by Chris Lamey. So they have Lamey on Sims for this final series. Lamey matches up beautifully with Sims. He is huge. Can he match his speed? That would be the question. Lawrence Smith going in now to try to get it back out top to Hess. Watch, that could be a fast break. You've got 12 seconds left, plenty of time. Hochsted's to the left. Can they get it to him? Reese can't get the ball off. Whipple looking for help. Inside, Hahn whiffed. And the shot comes back and hits Hahn. Boy, unbelievable as the clock winds down. Hahn had a feed. He whiffs on it. Ball goes wide. He has had a very tough half.
Lamey took the shot, but it was blocked in front. Nice transition defense by Princeton.
Yeah, credit Princeton. They have been great and settled and in transition.
Exactly. One of the first fast breaks of the day for Maryland. It has not been a run and gun game. You can see the hustle of Princeton. They realize how dangerous Hahn is in front. Lunkenheimer comes over, and then Lamey's shot is blocked. Just a bunch of bodies swarming in front. Nice transition defense by Princeton. That is where they are susceptible to giving up goals.
Okay, Coach Bill Tierney on with us now as we watch Maryland leave the field. And Coach Tierney, your team, again, looks very seasoned in championship play. You're not making hardly any mistakes, I should say, on defense. What are your feelings on that first half?
Well, I think we played real well defensively. Corey made some nice saves. You know, we played a little too much defense, though. We knew we were going to lose face-offs, and you can't play defense for that long a time. You got to be smarter on offense and get better shots.
Coach, twice in the first half, you had guys open off the double picks. Massey left-handed, and then Josh Sims on that last play. Are we going to see more of that kind of set plays?
Hard to say, Quinn. We just have to go back and look and see what the kids think works. And, you know, we had Josh on that last one, just took his eye off it a little bit, but we'll be all right.
And thank you very much, Coach Tierney. We will see you in the second half. Your team is so tough to beat. 3-3 the score. Our halftime coming up.
Well, where do you think baseball stars come from? Left field?
We're back at Rutgers. The score tied at 3. It's a defensive slugfest. The seasoned Princeton Tigers defending champions and the Maryland Terrapins with a rematch of last year's championship game. I'd say the championship series here at Rutgers showing the enthusiasm of the great fans of lacrosse, and this has turned into be such a spectacle. We've had close to 30,000 fans at this weekend for many, many years. Has become one of the real jewels of the NCAA. And this is, again, something that everybody in lacrosse is very proud of. Joining me right now, Phil Botafoco, the Assistant Director of Championships. Phil, you've been here for a number of years and really created a beautiful scenario for the lacrosse fans and the lacrosse teams. You've got to be very proud.
Well, I think we're all really proud. I think it's been wonderful that the lacrosse community really plans on a reunion every year at Memorial Day, and that's really what the game has turned into, an event. It's much more than just a game.
This thing has built so beautifully. Any more plans? It seems to be maxed out. How can it get better, or does it need to get better? It really is doing well.
Well, I think the way to get better is to continue building the loyalty amongst the spectators, providing better services to the spectators so that everything from their side is A1, and they really want to come back, and they attract their friends to come back so we can continue to increase the spectator base, but also those that are playing the game of lacrosse.
Well, one reason we got Phil up here, it's his vision that helped build this wonderful event. You're moving on after this year. Where can we find you?
Well, I'll be the commissioner of the ECAC come July 1 up in Massachusetts, and looking forward to that challenge and that opportunity.
And we'll always remember Phil Botafoco and his contribution to make this wonderful weekend happen, and this will go on for many, many years to come. This weekend was also very special for another reason, and it wasn't super happy because Roy Simmons, one of the most revered coaches in the game, announced his retirement after the semifinal. Casey Powell graduating this year. They did not advance past Princeton, and they will be losing a great coach. When we come back, we'll continue with our halftime from Rutgers Stadium.
From small towns to big cities, Citgo has more than 14,500 locations to serve you nationwide.
Chip game built on defense, as most great teams want it to be. And the scoring has been sparse and not very much, but it has been dramatic.
Brian Zeller got Maryland on the board early, 1-0. But Lawrence Smith came back, slicing through the double team. We're tied at 1. And then John Wynn on a feed from Hess, extra man. Princeton up 2-1. Massey from Torty. It's 3-1 Princeton, but Maryland comes back. Frank Radin, unassisted. He is fouled. And then on the ensuing penalty, the extra man unit connects. Watch this shot by Bob Hanna, an absolute cannon high to the near side, and we're tied up at 3. A couple of different possessions at the end of that half did not result in any goals. When we come back, we will get this one started for a second half action.
Yeah.
Rutgers Stadium abuzz. 3-3 the score, and these two teams are leaving it up in the second half. Let's take a look at how they got here. Syracuse couldn't match Princeton. They advanced. Then Maryland really just took apart Loyola, and they match up for the second time in 2 years. Let's take a look at those halftime numbers, Quinn.
Big differential in shots. Maryland really outshooting Princeton, but the key, Popham in goal for Princeton with 9 saves. Maryland swarming the ground balls, an advantage 23-16. And face-offs, Maryland up 5-1, but that really has not translated into goals. I think Maryland's got to get their transition game going. They need some fast breaks.
Princeton, of course, very experienced with winning late and winning close games. They'll be tough to beat. That's the challenge for Maryland when we come back. Rutgers has us tied at 3. We're back at Rutgers Stadium, 3-3 the score. We are proud to have Coach Dick Edel of Maryland with us right now. He's just talked to his troops. What was the message in the halftime, Dick Edel?
Hey, the message, Leaf, was, keep playing the solid defense that we're playing and just share the ball offensively. We didn't do it, for about a 7 or 8 minute period in that first period. We keep the ball hot. We get the ball to the open man. We're going to win the ball game.
Well, this is definitely a struggle. You've got a team that is used to playing close games, and we wish you the best of luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Both teams back out. You look at Maryland, the flag bearer, a standard attraction to the Maryland team. He always comes out and carries that flag, and right there, Healy has not played poorly. He's played, a solid game.
3 saves, 3 goals against, but Princeton doesn't give you the chance to make a lot of saves. They don't take bad shots. It's tough to get into a rhythm as a goaltender. Look at Princeton this year. They are a second half team, especially in the playoffs. They trailed in both those games 8-4, and they rallied in the second half to beat Syracuse and then to beat Duke.
So the second half definitely, and in particular the third quarter, this team can really do it. Face-offs have been a factor. We know that Haggerty's been winning them all. They have to turn into goals, though, and that is the key.
Princeton's done a nice job getting back into the hole and denying Haggerty the fast break right off the face-off. That's his strength. He likes to pop it to himself and trigger that 4-on-3 fast break.
Great job by Princeton there to get the ball up. Greg Mecca came up with the long stick of Lamy pounding on him, and they still got the possession. Beautiful job. Seamus Grooms inside to Hubbard. He goes low and pays the price. Brian Reese levels him, and that's how we start the second half.
Healy just got dropped down to a knee. Not much to shoot at there by Hubbard, but again, a great ground ball play by Mecca, as you said, and Seamus Grooms pushing the tempo.
Sims with the speed, double teamed right away, so they're sending some numbers out after him. Guy doesn't look to feed too much, and why should he? Tremendous shot on the run. Massey getting open in front, and there's a big save by Healy. First test of the second half. Brian Reese pushes it back into Healy. Healy becomes involved in the clear. Looks all the way across field, and it's Connor who picks up that ball. Casey Connor, little bit of a lob pass.
Nice handle by Maryland. Both teams started a little on the inbounds clearing in the first half. Healy, great save, and then you can see his athletic ability taking the ball up about 20 yards outside of his crease.
Well, you've got the big guns in there now for Maryland. They like the shots of Zeller, Radin. Hahn playing that traditional crease location. Hockstedt behind with Andrew Whipple. And coming on, one of the big howitzers, Bill Rule. He's the right-handed howitzer. You're looking for a little bit of room, but Princeton doesn't give it to you. Hockstedt couldn't get the pass. They threw it wide. Scott was trying to sneak in to get himself in shooting position with that pass. The pass went a little bit wide. Never really had a chance to catch it.
As Coach Adele said, and as we had said in the second quarter, it's going to take a lot of short, crisp passes, keep the ball hot, keep the rock moving, share the wealth. That's how Maryland's going to score goals. I still think they need to generate transition and score on their fast breaks. You're not going to score too many goals 6-on-6.
Princeton did a great job of doing nothing but cutting off the fast break on the first faceoff. They sent 2 long sticks back to the defensive end. Maryland got the faceoff, then they checked down, got the ball back. Princeton did. Mark Whaling working up top. He likes the matchup with Pasqualina. Pasqualina playing nice, solid defense. As Princeton moves it back to John Hess. Right back to the traveling Lawrence Smith. Nice job of Healy to go pipe the far pipe. It was hip high left side off stick. That's a tough save.
And that's a textbook give and go between Lawrence Smith and the attack. He gives it up, gives a little shake and bake, and cuts to the goal.
This one goes in. Beautiful job by Lawrence Smith. Didn't get it cleanly in. Healy got a chunk of it, but the move was from behind to the front, and they get goal number 4.
And Hess, I think Hess gets the assist. That'll be his second of the game. Watch him behind the net, dodging right-handed, senses the slide. Banani is all over Lawrence Smith, but Smith just one-touches it. Again, here it is. He cuts away from Hess and just redirects that ball past Healy. The sprawling Healy kicks the ball into the goal. Lawrence Smith, second goal of the game. Hess has got 2 assists, a layup for Princeton.
And they've gotten 2 face-offs in a row, but this one checked out of their stick. Here goes Hockstedt. Splits 2 defenders. Martell pacing him as they move the ball around. Maryland very carefully now moving the ball from player to player. Brian Zeller up top waits as the face-off men Haggerty go off, as well as the defensive specialist Eric Osberg. Radin comes back on. He's got a goal today. Looks behind. Hockstedt's wide open. Neglects not to give it to him initially. Tries to set up a little bit of a far side is open. Whipple waiting on the far side, but too much carrying the ball from our perspective. Rule up top. Brian Zeller again. He's got a nice shot from out front. Radin really being active, but gets double, gets through the ball. That's a pretty good way to do it. Backside, wide open is Rule. Rule standing there, waiting for the ball as Hockstedt pushes in. There's Rule right now. Far side, there's a good shot. Beautiful job by Radin. Rule did a nice job of splitting the seam, and Radin had an open shot, misses wide.
That's the passing that they'll need. You got to get it moving around the outside. Pick your spots when the defense comes at you real hard. That's a great time to dodge. And if they overplay ball side, you want to try to make that pass to the backside.
Rule gets double teamed in the back by Luckenheimer. He's got an open man now if he can move it around. Hahn up front. Hahn goes across the crease. Hockstedt looks for him, gets double, and gets checked into the crease. It'll be a violation that won't be called because Popham has the ball.
Great
nice
save
job
by Corey Popham, just holding his ground, playing his angles. And that's a play-on call. They give Princeton the opportunity to clear the ball, keep the game seamless, keep the game flowing. If Princeton had messed up that clear, the whistle would have been blown. They would have been given the ball outside of the box. Great save by Popham.
Maryland playing not only a real solid team, a defending champion, but a team that has a mystique of not making mistakes late in games.
They've won 7 straight overtime games. They're 4-0 in the championship.
John Hess goes to the back of that goal net. And a nice move, though, of Hess did. Hess, known as a feeder, has really changed his role, has become a scoring threat, and he really makes you play him honest. Watch out, ball open. This will be an easy goal for Hess. They threw it past Healy. He slam dunks, and that has got to hurt. 5-3. They give one to Princeton.
Sloppy clearing by Maryland, and Hess, with a little hustle, scoops up the loose and gets an easy one, a gimme. John Hess in the right place at the right time. Only 13 goals this season, but his main job is as a feeder. Reese just throws the ball back to Healy. Healy had some problems. Princeton in a little press ride there. You can see Hubbard and Hess both doing a great job. Reese with the pass to Healy, and it's all John Hess. Sloppy, cannot afford mistakes like that against Maryland. Against Princeton, excuse me.
Coming in for the faceoff was Noe, number 12 from Maryland, and he moved a little too quickly. Gives it back to Princeton. They, as we talked about the numbers showing, they have dominated the third quarter. They are a second-half team. They killed people in the third quarter, and they really had a dominant fourth quarter to beat Syracuse. So Maryland will have to really play perfectly to start to get back in this game. They're only 2 down, not out of it by any means, but this is a critical time, Quint, because you don't want that 2-goal lead to go to 3.
Especially against a Princeton team that has great ball control.
Sims, good speed. He'll get a shot off. Hard shot. He's got the corner, and they are doing it textbook style. Maryland sizzled for 3 goals by Princeton to open up the second half. They've scored 3 in 5 minutes. Maryland gave them 1, and Princeton just took 2 other ones.
Game-breaking speed by Josh Sims. Watch him just put it into turbo right here. A little acceleration, and he's in, and the accuracy finds the lower corner. He is shooting the ball so well. 13 goals on his last 20 shots, or in that range. He is just on fire. Josh Sims, a potential first-team All-American.
Haggerty now, a guy that can really get things going the other way, but they're just tying him up. Good job of face-off man Greg Mecca. Quint, they put Greg Mecca, number 24, in there, and they are doing something that a lot of teams have tried to do, just hold Haggerty up. They play the man and then hope for the help to come in from the wing.
Right, they're just making it a scrap. Haggerty likes to do the reverse clamp, push it out forward to himself. On the whistle, Mecca's basically just standing up and riding the player. He's riding Haggerty out, and then it's a free-for-all.
Princeton has controlled the third quarter from the opening whistle.
It's a 3-goal run. Princeton scores again. Coach Adele's going to be forced to use a timeout.
That's controlling now behind. Josh Sims initiating from behind. Bonatti works on him. Triple on him, and watch Mark Whalen in close. There's a big save by Healy. Tremendous save. Seamus Groom is right in his face, but they get the ball back. Massey. Hubbard will create some problems here. Hess, he's got rope. 7-3, a 4-goal run by the defending champion Tigers.
Generated off the second chance opportunity. Pasqualina unable to clear the ball. Princeton, their attack, they're just swarming on the Maryland clears. They generate the turnover right here. Massey with a little flip to Hubbard, and watch the unselfish play. Finds Hess. Hess, low to high, just rips the corner. Again, Hess, low to high, just scorches the twine. Princeton on a 4-goal run. Hess, 2 of those 4 goals here in the third quarter.
John Hess just announced today, first-team All-America. And he's showing why. Hubbard, along with him, and Casey Powell round out the attack unit first-teamers. No timeout called by Maryland. They're going to go with what they've got, try to get some possessions here. 4 goals down.
Look at the attack scoring. All of a sudden, Princeton's attack is on fire. Maryland's attack has been quiet all day.
And there's a sensational save by Popham. He has played the best game we have seen maybe all year, Quint. Popham is on fire, stepping up when his coach needed him. He has been really an iron door for Maryland down there. That was a nice move for Maryland and looked like a sure goal. Popham makes the save.
We will see a patient attack by Princeton. They'll attack the goal, but they'll pick their spots. They'll make sure their substitutes are on. They'll control the ball, get it around for a minute or 2 on every possession. They're not going to stall, but they will play this game, the rest of this game, at their pace, at their tempo.
John Hess behind, working on Connor. With his new scoring ability, now he's got Connor hung up. Healy goes out to try to seal one side into the crease, picked off very quickly by Burnham. Now can they clear? They've had trouble getting past Princeton in the clearing zone. Burnham runs up. Maybe this will open up Maryland. You know, Maryland's been a little bit tight on the offensive end, Quint. Now they've got to sort of let it go. They're 4 goals down. This is not a 1-goal game anymore.
No, and they haven't generated many shots in the third quarter. We're halfway through the quarter already. Maryland yet to score a goal here.
I thought they needed 40 shots to win this game, and I'll bet you they haven't gotten 20 yet. Third quarter action. Maryland now with their first real possession of the second half, and it took 7 minutes to get it. And on the far side as they move it back to Chris Malone. Being marked by Torty. Here are the shot numbers. Terrapins are right at 20. 26 for Princeton. So Popham has been the story. Hanna looking for the left-handed shot up top. Here comes Whipple. Cranking it. Goes wide. Backed out just in time by Chris Malone.
Nice ball movement by Malone and Hanna finding Whipple. The attackman was in front. There he is. You can see the C on his jersey. One of the captains, one of the 9 seniors in this class of '98 that's been so successful for Maryland.
They've got their backs against the wall now. Malone coming in, not much of an angle, goes right through the ground with that shot, and Popham just read it all the way.
Popham playing the game of his career right there. Pretty simple save. He holds his ground, plays his angles so well.
Ball loose, watch out. Hahn's on the run. He's looking for help. He'll take the shot himself. Goes for the corner with an off-speed shot, and Popham makes the easy save. Popham has them talking to themselves. Maryland not loose at all on the offensive end, and they can't figure out Corey Popham.
Just a great one-on-one save. Hahn seemed to be bothered by the chasing Princeton Tigers. Didn't really put any mustard on that. He kind of just lofted it, and Popham with the quick hands made the easy save. Huge turn of events right there. That was a great opportunity for Maryland.
Popham has come up big any time he's been called on today. Andrew Whipple controlling behind Harrington. There's the double coming in. He looks for somebody out front. Whipple goes close. There's a shot, and another off-speed shot by Hahn. Hahn with a little roller that doesn't even find the net.
Lunkenheimer got his stick in the gloves and took away the velocity. You can see how Hahn and Whipple work so well, and Princeton's got numbers.
Look at Hahn, totally frustrated. Princeton on the run, but they know the clock is part of their team as well right now. Using the clock, as you talked about before, on every possession, they'll take off precious minutes. 4-goal lead with this team is huge.
Last year's semifinals against Duke, they took the lead with 4 minutes to go. Duke never saw the ball. They never got it back. This year in the semifinals, Syracuse had to double-team Princeton. They actually got 2 possessions late in that game. We're not at that stage yet. Maryland not going to take chances until there's about 5 minutes to go in the 4th.
Sims getting a little bit of real estate out front. Tough to cover. Tried to go far side to Massey. Nice thought. Massey got enough of it to keep it in bounds. Brian Reese will mark up on Massey. Massey comes in, a little bit of room, and there's an easy goal. Defense of Maryland has just fallen apart.
Massey's 2nd goal of the game. Great clear out. Nice field awareness by the rest of the Princeton team as you take a look at Christian Cook. There's Massey, 2 goals today on the left-handed move. You'll see no one on the left half of the field. You see how they all get out of his way, and there's a lot of space. Massey has a lot of time and room there, and Brian Reese has got to do a better job of pushing him behind the cage.
Yeah, there's no way that he should have any angle for any shot. Reese has plenty of size. He had plenty of angle. He had plenty of position. All he has to do is shove him back a little further. He's done it all year. This team is a little bit spooked right now, not playing their normal game. Maryland has played beautiful games. This one, not one of them.
And no timeout again. Princeton now on a 5-goal run. Coach Adele had a chance to call timeout after a 2- or 3-goal run, and now he's let this game get out of control.
Well, got a foul on Martell, so this might give him another extra man opportunity. Udell hoping that something will spark them in the right direction, saving the timeouts for hopefully late in the game when it's a 1-goal difference and he needs them.
Maryland on the extra man, 38% on the season. The big shooters are Hanna, number 35 with the left hand, and Rule, number 4 with the right. And if you spread the D, they'll knock it inside to Matt Hahn, number 32, who's right in front.
Scoreless in a big chunk of time, and I tell you what, the offense, the attack, really nowhere. Goals by Zeller, Radin, and Hanna. Ball up top, here will be a shot. Hard shot to the corner. Hockstead finally gets untracked. That'll help. We featured him in the beginning of the show, Quint, and if he's loose, if he's getting his shots, you can count on 3 or 4.
Nice execution by Maryland on the extra man in a must-score situation. Their second extra man goal of the game. Whipple, a little look-away action to Hochstead. He plants and beats Popham right by the stick side. Too much velocity, too much ball movement. Hochstead gets the Maryland attack on the board. That's their first goal. As you said, Leaf, the Maryland midfielders have done their scoring so far. We need to hear from Hahn, Hochstead, and Whipple if the Terrapins are going to rally.
They're set up for a fast break. It'll be Hochstead again with a shot coming in, gets the right hand back to the middle. They can't get it off cleanly, and finally do. They seem to get hesitant because of the great defense of Princeton. Ball still loose. Whipple fighting Popham. Ball loose behind, nobody in the goal. Here comes Hochstead, checked out of bounds. Not quite. Checked behind by Harrington, ball still loose. Here comes 2 other Princeton players. Well, procedure call on Hochstead, who must have stood up without the ball or got in the way, or what did he do?
He kind of fell out the ball.
I think.
Yeah, it might have been withholding the ball against his chest when he spun.
What an opportunity there. They got the fast break, Quint. Nobody really got a good shot on the fast break. Then they had a chance with goalie Popham out of the goal. Couldn't get back in position.
That's one of the first times that Haggerty has been able to get the fast break off the faceoff. He's done a nice job winning faceoffs, but they haven't got the fast breaks. In all the playoff games, Maryland has been able to go on a run because of Haggerty's ability. We have not seen that today.
4 goals separate them. A 5-goal run really put Maryland in a hole. The only attack goal for Maryland on an extra man played out of Hochstead just moments ago. Hess, Connor, now Bonanni slides off. And Bonanni playing tough defense. Mike Bonanni talked about him being the spiritual leader on that defense. He needs to be a little bit of a glue factor right now because they have not been comfortable the last 10 minutes. And who would be against this offense that Princeton throws at you? Mark Whaling sets up. Here comes the double team. Mark Whaling looking for help as 2 players come after him. They can't catch him. Trouble here. Ball tipped for a moment as Torty picks it up. So they're not looking to force it. They'll wait till they get their shot. Massey over to John Hess. He thinks he can take Connor, makes a big move on him. Here comes a double from way away. Shirk way out by himself. John Hess, this is Massey wheeling with a shot.
So tough because he can shoot both lefty and righty. Does a 360 there, pumps with the left and spins back for the right-handed worm burner. Great body control, great stick skills.
Connor did a nice job of checking the ball out for a moment, but Hess picks it right back up. John Hess now controlling. Playing on Casey Connor, a sophomore. The veteran Hess, not big. And look at the check, easily done by Bonanni. Bonanni slid up the backside and went over his head for the check.
Hubbard brought Bonanni near Hess. Something you don't want to do. An easy double team there on the end line. There was no place for Hess to run.
And here comes Jeff Shirk. Looks behind to Andrew Whipple. John Harrington just staying with him step for step.
Harrington's done a great job against Whipple in settled situations. He gets his stick in your numbers, and he's forced Whipple to operate really from the perimeter, from about 20 yards away from the cage. Whipple's got to step up and deal with that pressure that Harrington, the junior out of Yorktown, presents.
Bill Wool now comes in. This is the right-handed howitzer. Zeller, left-handed shot, just goes wide and backed up on the far side by Andrew Whipple. Whipple's not going to outrun anybody, so Harrington's going to have a stick on him the whole time. It's his quickness that'll kill you. It's lefty-righty and his vision. He gives the ball, he distributes beautifully. There he goes again. Great vision up top. Hard shot goes wide, just off the mark. Time and time again, the shots that we saw go against Maryland, they're not even hitting the net.
I like the ball movement. They need to finish those shots. Zeller has got to stop shooting for the pipes.
Braden had not much of an angle there. Coming in left-handed, Popham just gobbled it up.
Maryland's going to be called in the crease. Raiden, after the shot, fell into the crease, so Princeton will control here. See if they give him a free clear.
Well, a lot of times.
They will give him a free clear. It's going to be a play on in the crease violation. So Princeton now with the free clear. Lawrence Smith will handle. Look at Coach Tierney, his 5th title game. They're undefeated in the championships. 2 of those were overtime games. 1992 against Syracuse, and then 96 against Virginia.
Lawrence Smith now inbounding. Brian Reese matched up on him, number 34, back to Casey Connor's challenge. That's John Hess. Hubbard. This is typical Princeton. They zing that ball around with great speed and accuracy. Very tough to cut him off. Smith getting a lot of defensive checks from Brian Reese. Reese has played double duty this year, played close defense, long stick.
I think there was a factor on that goal earlier by Massey on the dodge. Reese really not as comfortable playing close defense. He's played close defense the last 3 or 4 games, but it's real important to know where you are in the field as a defenseman.
Pasqualina takes it from Osberg. He looks for an open man. Can't see anybody because the Princeton defense. Far side skips a man, and the hard shot again misses. Hahn had an open look at the rope, and he just misses the whole 6x6.
They've missed some big-time opportunities here in the third quarter. They easily could have 2 or 3 goals more. We watched Hahn miss the net. We saw Zeller miss earlier.
And we're going to credit Popham for that. You know, Popham, a hot goalie will make you start moving your shot a little bit more toward the corner. And right now, Popham has these guys thinking. The shooters are not comfortable with where to shoot on Corey Popham. He's played beautifully. Well, that'll be the end of the quarter. Princeton controls. They lead by 4. 15 minutes left to go for the championship. We're back at Rutgers Stadium. A showdown in Division I lacrosse. The championships for 1998. We're down to the final 15 minutes, but look at the dominance for Princeton. 92, 94, 96, 97. They are the team of the decade, and that is the challenge. They showed their dominance in the third quarter.
Lawrence Smith from John Hess made it 4-3, and then a giveaway by Maryland. Hess puts Princeton up by 2, and then the speed of Josh Sims at 6-3. And Hess again, low to high, scorching Healy and Massey, the devastating Dodger on the left side. They're up 8-3 at that point. Maryland then made it 8-4, a 5-goal run for the Princeton Tigers.
The all-important face-off down there now in Maryland, facing off against Greg Mecca. And they get the ball back. So Mecca has given Haggerty problems. There are the score by quarters.
An even game in the first half. Princeton just goes on a little spurt, a little run, and they've got a 4-goal lead. They control the tempo with a lead like this. Maryland will be forced to come out now and play a little more aggressive on the ball, try to generate some turnovers.
And they're using Greg Mecca, who we didn't even count on, to come out and really cause Haggerty some problems. They've gotten, I think, 3 or 2 of the 3 of the faceoffs Mecca has taken.
Mecca's only taken 37 faceoffs prior to this game, but he's done a nice job just tying up Haggerty, taking away the fast break, and I think it's frustrated Haggerty and Maryland. No fast break goals for the Terps.
Hess gets it right in front to Chris Massey. What pressure on Healy, and Healy comes up with a big save. Brian Reese levels Josh Sims out of bounds. Princeton doesn't mind. They have possession. That's all they want. Chris Massey will now take it behind. He's got Lamy playing him. Chris Lamy at 6'5". I don't think you get around him too much unless you start turning on the jets. Hold call. It'll be on Lamy. Lamy got tied up as he went over the top. Massey showing tremendous quickness. He can go roll on your right or left. He tucks that stick. And with the hidden stick, Lamy just got locked up on a hold.
The senior from Garden City. Look at the devastation. The Massey for Princeton and Hahn for Maryland and Hubbard for Princeton. All-time leading goal scorers in the tournament. Gary Gate, 50 career goals. They won 3 championships with the Gate brothers. Maricek, 38. Frank Urso, one of the great midfielders, a 4-time first-team All-American. And then you see Massey and Hubbard always saving their best games for the NCAAs.
And for the final game, we have not heard much from the offense of Maryland. Where have been the big goals for Hahn? Not today. He has been so critical in that drive. Whipple to Hahn, a combination we haven't heard from today. 2 men down for Maryland. They will be playing 6 against 4. And if ever there was a challenge for Healy, this is the one.
Keep your eyes on Hubbard, number 16 for Princeton. He's got the outside shot. They'll probably kick it around for a right-handed outside shot by Jesse Hubbard from about 12 yards.
And Healy knows the heat's coming. Lawrence Smith. This is Chris Massey, and right there is Hubbard. Jesse Hubbard's got tremendous right hand. Josh Sims and Lawrence Smith for the left to his side right there. There's Lawrence Smith. Good rotation as Chris Massey looks far side. He couldn't get Sims. They continue to look for Sims back door. There's the big shot, but blocked by the sticks of Maryland. Nice job of protecting their goalie, and then he throws it out of bounds.
There's going to be an interference with the goalie called against Princeton. The Princeton attackman, he is entitled to his space.
Good job by Healy.
Healy with a smart play there. The referees usually buy that call. If you throw an outlet pass into the attackman, they buy it. Remember, they are entitled to their vertical space. They're just not allowed in towards the cylinder of the crease.
Well,
but Healy with a smart play. And Maryland now, with only 4 offensive players, they've got to kill the next 21 seconds here, and then their teams will be back to even strength.
This could be a turning point. If Maryland is to come back in this game, mark your VCRs, because this is where it'll start. Zeller getting ragged by 2 players, helped by Hochstead. Hochstead cannot pick it up cleanly. And knocked out of bounds. It'll be a Maryland ball.
Great second effort by Zeller. Loses it, but stays focused, delivers the hit, and Maryland will have the ball. We've got 7 seconds left on the penalty. Watch the Zeller right here. Gets double teamed, but he doesn't quit. He comes back, and you'll see him make the hit right there on the right side of your screen. He actually hit Martell as Martell scooped the ball, and the ball rolled out of bounds.
Got Hochstead with possession against Jason Farrell. He's waiting for the men to come in. They've killed that penalty. That is a big moment. Hochstead coming in. He'll have a shot, and he finds the corner. Hochstead changes the complexion of the game. It was 8-4. It could have been 9-4. Instead, it's 8-3. It's anybody's game. 3 goals separate these 2 teams.
Monster goal by Hochstead. The junior has scored 2 in a row now for Maryland. Watch him just take that double team. Strong bull dodge. He has got that ability to drop his shoulder and use his strength right there, running through the double team, kind of blind to the cage, and puts it 5-hole against Popham. If Maryland's going to make a run, it's going to come from right there, number 24, and the rest of the attack unit. They have to step up right now.
I think you've got to hear some numbers out of Hahn. He's been there too many times. He has been shackled today. Watch number 32 for Maryland. If they come back, you've got to have goals from number 32. They get the face-off. Maryland brings down Chris Noe. Was in there for Haggerty. Noe has the ball in possession, gives it to Whipple. Andrew Whipple continues to look for help. He has got great distribution, but he's being pushed by John Harrington. The defense of Harrington has really caused problems. Harrington at 6'2", and quick enough to stay with Whipple.
If I'm Maryland right now, I'm going to get the ball to Hochstead, try to initiate.
Raiden with a big shot. I like the way Raiden just puts on heat. He runs hard and shoots hard. Nothing fancy about that, but that is a test for any goalie.
Raiden's such a hard worker. Got a great change of direction, but you can see the burst of speed. This is the matchup I'm talking about.
Double.
Hochstead will draw the quick double team. If they can move it, they're going to generate some shots.
Tried to push it inside. Zeller had a shot, and he just gave it up to try to get it to Hahn. Nice riding, though, by Maryland. Keeps it on the floor. It'll go out of bounds back to Maryland. The concept was good, Quint. They went far side, but then maybe a little too careful shifting it into Hahn. He had a shot up top.
Princeton is shutting out Matt Hahn right now. On 7 shots, he's got one real high-quality shot where Popham stuffed him from close range.
Well, he had a better one down here. He hit the pipe. He did hit the pipe early on.
He had the pipe, and the one stuffed by Popham. But I like the offense when Hochstead initiates. They know the slide's coming, and then they can get it moving.
Hochstead gets doubled. You're not going to find much room around him. Maryland continues to push it into the covered man. Raiden covered. Rule getting triple. Men are open. They've got numbers if they can move the ball. And a whistle called.
Maryland's got a timeout on the side. They wanted to maintain that possession. Earlier, I kind of criticized them for not using their timeouts during the run, and there they used one of them.
They might have had a fast break if they didn't call it, but they'll have possession in a moment. They are down to within 3. A lot of time left.
Imagine
Flashback to this great dynasty in Princeton. This was last year against Maryland. Open net. Bonanni can't make the stop. It was Princeton shredding Maryland last year. It's not as easy this year, but this has been a dynasty. The team of the 90s, the Princeton Tigers, led by Coach Bill Tierney, the coach of this year's U.S. team that will compete in Baltimore in July. There they are on the sideline.
Tigers looking for the three-peat. It's only been done twice in NCAA lacrosse history. Hopkins winning championships 78, 79, and 80. And then Syracuse with the Gate brothers winning in 1988, 89, and 90. Princeton looking to become the 3rd three-peat in NCAA history.
Maryland again with possession. They need some goals. They wheel inside. There's the shot by Hahn they wanted. But Popham, who has really been the story, has come up with another big save.
He has answered all the critics. Big question mark for Princeton entering this Final Four would be goal play.
Sideline, Lawrence Smith against Brian Reese. Reese trying to get it from Smith, but Smith just too crafty, too much size. And a double team now on Chris Massey. Whoa, a 10-second violation. No, a timeout called before that. Another possession timeout, this time called by Coach Bill Tierney. A lot of discussion about these possession timeouts. They are not the favorite of a lot of fans, and the committee talked about it this year in rules. Well, you want to stay tuned for a little bit of baseball. Great doubleheader coming up. It's today. The Tigers face the Indians at 1:15 Eastern time. Yeah, the Tigers led by Damon Easley. Then, of course, the Indians. David Justice for one. You've got a lot of stars on that team, including Kenny Lofton. Then we go to the National League. The Los Angeles Dodgers take on the Houston Astros. That's a 4 o'clock start, all on ESPN today. Pressure here as Princeton, a team that doesn't lose when it's tight, Quint, very rarely. They don't choke. They do what they have to do. They've got ice water in their veins, and they have since that trio of attackmen took over this team.
They have done it and throughout the course of the history with Bill Tierney as their coach. In NCAA games, they've won 11 straight that have been decided by 2 goals or less. They win the close ball games, and they're 7-0 in overtime games during that period.
Well, one attackman that has stepped up, we feel like they've got to get Hahn to score some goals, but Hannah has scored 1 from the midfield. Hochstead has scored the last 2, giving them a little life on the offense.
There he is, Scott Hochstead, coming into this game with 46 goals. Here's the extra man shot, right-handed, just sizzles the ball past Popham from about 10 yards. And then early stages of the 4th quarter, one-on-one move. You can see the versatility for Hochstead. His 2nd goal of the game. Hahn has been shut out. Whipple has not scored. Scotty Hochstead and that trio, they're going to have to step up.
I don't think that team can win if Hahn doesn't score. That's how important he is to that offense. Time left, 10 and change. You see it there, counting down. 3-goal lead. Turning point, if Maryland's to get back and close even further, Quint, was when it was 8-4, and they had a 2-man advantage. Could have made it 9-4. Maryland pushes them away and then gets a goal of their own. Up top, pressure on Healy, and it'll be burned by Hubbard. Defense failing Healy. As Hubbard, the big right-hander, boy, that is not where you want him to shoot from. At that location on the field, it is almost a certain goal.
This play was designed for Josh Sims coming off the pick left-handed, but you can see Sims carries, and then there's a big opening on the far side, and Hubbard, with time and room, high to low, nothing Healy could do about that. Princeton right now shooting the ball better than Maryland. We've seen Maryland miss the cage a lot. Princeton, they're burying the ball behind Healy. There he is, Jesse Hubbard, got more goals than anybody in Princeton history. Great execution. The play broke down. Maryland did a nice job. Sims was forced behind the cage, but he kept playing. Only his 5th assist of the season.
And faceoffs that are so critical are being lost by Maryland. This last 10 minutes, we've seen just a ton of faceoffs taken, or the critical ones taken by Princeton. They are so tough now with a 4-goal lead. They will possess the ball and make you take it from them. John Hess behind. Connor trying to stay right with him, stick at his numbers. Tough to take it from John Hess.
You can see Maryland extending the adjacent pressure. They're stretching their defense out. If Princeton can deal with this pressure, they should get some quality shots here. The question is, do they want to pull back or do they want to attack?
Mark Whaling now with the ball. A lot of time taken off already. What they'll do here is they'll work the ball, let you hope that you invite you to make a mistake, I should say. And when you make a mistake, they will burn you with a goal. Jesse Hubbard comes behind. Mike Bonanni playing D on him. Gets the ball down to the turf. He has it loose right now, but who will get it? Healy out of the goal. Here's some trouble. Watch out, open net. Hess trying to get it out front. They know nobody's in there. Finally, Healy gets back.
Three white jerseys swarmed that ball. All 3 attackmen. Healy came out, but it was just a swarm of white jerseys. And now they'll get another chance to kill some time here and work for the high-quality shot. They really hustle when that ball's loose. Great hunger by that attack unit. A lot of attack units really just known for their scoring, but these guys can do it all.
Rob Torty has possession. Short stick defender Eric Osberg playing him. Torty sees a little bit of a room. Osberg playing it beautifully for the right hand. No angle there. Watch out. Coming in close. Shot from the far side. Easy goal for Seamus Grooms. Just splits the defense and comes in, goes to his left, and beats Healy on the backside.
Seamus Grooms had 2 goals in the semifinal. 2 huge goals for the senior as they beat Syracuse, and today scores the 10th for Princeton. Terrific execution from the second chance opportunity. Hess with the beautiful feed right on the money. And watch Seamus Grooms with some patience, finds the lower corner. The slide is late from Maryland. There's Seamus Grooms on the sideline, senior from West Genesee, looking for his 3rd national championship ring.
Facing off in the middle of the field, Greg Mecca, who has taken most of them for the last, well, most of this half, number 24. Brian Reese for Maryland goes out. Maryland has a ton of goals to make up here. 5 goals against Princeton. It's a long hill to climb. Healy is out of the goal. He's being ragged by 3 players. He will not get it cleanly. Help coming. And again, Princeton gets it back.
It's going to be a push against Jesse Hubbard. He was lucky that the foul wasn't thrown. That was high and from behind. You can see Hubbard, that man right there, Massey, throwing their bodies around. They can sense this one.
They make it tough to get it out of the zone. Look at this. Maryland cannot make the easy pass. They just don't give you the easy plays. Make you think about everything you do. Princeton's way is one of no mistake offense and defense. Radin, hard shot out front, tries to get it into Hockstead, and he gets leveled. Radin working it down low to Hockstead. They'll lose the ball on the crease violation.
It's the right idea by that man right there, Scott Hockstead. Good defense, though. They came with the body, and Popham, Corey Popham, just held his ground.
He was kind of behind the plane of the goal when the ball got to him. A tough shot for Scott Hockstead. And Radin, I thought, had a pretty good shot up top. You know, he's been effective just going ahead and taking the hard shot. Ball loose on the ground. Could be trouble, but they get it up cleanly. Picked off by Maryland's defense. Offside call. Or was it a timeout? Hard to say. Technical, Bonani, offsides called. It's a technical foul. Is it on Maryland?
It's on Maryland. The Princeton sideline, they're clapping. They've got their extra man unit now taking the field.
5-goal lead. This one's all, but shouldn't say over, but looking pretty hard for Maryland to come back 5 goals. Now they've got an extra man play to look at.
It might even be a mouthpiece violation. Actually, it's an offside. 30 seconds now. Princeton will zip the ball around the outside. Again, Hubbard can burn you with that right-handed cannon.
I'll tell you, 5-goal lead. That's enough to cause you nightmares with only 7 minutes left. This will make it 6. Off the iron. Lawrence Smith had it measured and out of bounds.
Nice hustle by Andrew Whipple. That's a shot. First person to get closest to the ball when it goes out.
And Whipple came from the
far side. Whipple came from the far side. He was the attacker, and he was closest. Just an absolute rocket off the pipe that had Healy burnt. Lawrence Smith with that long motion. He's a lefty, but he's about 6'3", and he gets his arms way behind him and just brings that crank shot. He yanks the ball so well. That ball went about 50 yards off the iron.
And if you're Maryland, Quint, the sirens have to go off now because you've got to start scoring. You cannot wait any longer. 5 goals to make up, not much time. You don't know how many possessions you'll get against Princeton. You know they'll hold the ball. And look at this. Nobody moving it. Radin getting sandwiched. Ball down. Princeton's going to take it away again. They are just too smart. They don't make it easy for Maryland, and they double team and get the ball back. Maryland threw away another chance for a key possession. And close. Easy shot and a goal by Jess Hubbard.
Great pass by Barrier. It all started with the double team. Harrington made a beautiful crossfield pass to Barrier, who took it inside. A little eye contact with Hubbard. Here it is. Watch the eye contact. Barrier will just find Hubbard inside on the front swing right there, and Hubbard, easy catch, little jump shot past Healy. Poor defense by Maryland. Not what you expect by Princeton to jam that ball inside, but you can see the stick skills. Barrier right on the money, and Hubbard now has 2 goals in the 4th quarter.
Princeton reads so beautifully from both ends of the field. Noe now in for Maryland trying to get the face-off, and he's helped by wingman Eric Osborg. Now, Osborg, last time they had possession, Quinn, it was amazing how they came down and took the double team and lost the ball almost right away. They've got to get goals. They are down by 6 with almost not enough time mathematically to make up that difference.
Well, when you have Haggerty as your face-off guy, you're never really that far out of it. He can pop 2 or 3 real quick.
Andrew Whipple goes far side, throws it right out of bounds. Tough way to end the season for this great attack from Maryland. They have been so spectacular the whole season, And today they just haven't gotten it figured out. The defense of Princeton is just too much for Andrew Whipple, #1, and Hahn, 32. That's been the combination that has caused everybody problems who has played defense against Maryland.
And this senior class for Maryland, they've won more games than any class in Maryland history.
Big hit by Osberg, but Smith gets it to Mark Whaling. He absorbs the hit. Maryland swarming the ball. Holy smokes, they give it to Princeton. They check the ball out. And they'll call a penalty on Reese.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on Reese.
And
there might even be 2.
And on Whipple.
The referee said that the ball
hit a body.
Exactly. On its way down, it hit off the hip of a Maryland Terrapin. And now, I'm not sure who that was, a carrier launches the flag into the crowd, and he will be whistled. This is going to be the 3rd unsportsmanlike conduct from Maryland.
Kind of a,
Casey Connor picked up the flag and threw it into the stands.
Not the way Dickie Dale wants his program to end this sensational year. He got his team back to the finals for the rematch. Dickie Dale is as much a father to these kids as he is their coach. They're an emotional team, Quint, and that's what's coming out right now. But this kind of stuff, you know, neither of these two coaches can put up with. How many guys are off the field? Can they count them enough?
Whipple, Reese, and Connor will all be in the box for 1 minute unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. It'll be a 6-on-3.
They better take a few more red shirts off the field.
Little frustration, Sean. Maryland upset with the initial call. I think it was the right call. I don't know if we have a replay, but that ball seemed to deflect off a Terrapin's hip and roll out of bounds.
Well, if you're looking for Stanley Cup action, don't forget ESPN as they move toward the Stanley Cup Finals on ESPN. Princeton's the kind of team that can really frustrate you. Popham has been the story. He gets my vote for the MVP. I think he really set the tone early, Quinn. He had pressure early, and he turned back a lot of heat in that first quarter.
He did. The junior from the Gilman School, starting in his first championship game. Remember, Pat Cairns and Pancho Gutstein won the title for Princeton. Had a shaky season, but they played such great defense in front of him. Played his best game of the year today. And Jesse Hubbard now in the fourth quarter with 2 goals. The all-time leading scorer at Princeton. He played for the USA team this summer in the World Games.
6-on-3. This will be cherry picking. Who wants to take the shot? In the middle of the field, moving back and forth, is John Wynn. Wynn could be the likely candidate as they move on the outside. Probably come from the outside. There comes Massey up top. A lot of ball movement. Big rocket shot, and Healy makes a great save. Healy has had a sensational year for Maryland, and he just gets that one out of his own zone.
Great
Not a bad
play by Healy. Second-team All-American season for Kevin Healy. Took that one right off the helmet. He'll be tested again. Still a 6-on-3.
Chris Massey will take time. You know, if they just take the time off the clock, that's almost as good as a goal. There's 6 goals to make up, 5.5 left.
And they can, because one of those fouls against Maryland was a 3-minute non-releasable call.
Big shot by Hubbard. Jesse Hubbard's he's got the cannon. This is the U.S. team member, and he'll showcase his skills against the world in July. That's the spot he shot from earlier. That is his favorite spot for the big right-hander.
6'1", 210 pounds out of Georgetown Prep. He's got over 30 hat tricks now in his career. Here it is again. Time and room. This is just a scary sight for a goaltender. Watch him size this up, and look at the accuracy. Just under the bar, you can see the moisture come off the goal. Jesse Hubbard with a hat trick now in the fourth quarter. And there's the trio that will go down in history as one of the greatest attack units in the history of the sport. You have to give them that respect now as they're looking to get their 3rd national championship. You can talk about stats, you talk about numbers, but they've won 3 national titles.
And they've done it every way possible, Quint. They win the overtimes, they win the blowouts. They are just cool, calm, and collected. They beat Syracuse. They go into the fourth quarter down. They win the fourth quarter in the semifinal 5-1 and just coolly march on to their 3rd championship in a row.
And they have always stepped up when the game has been on the line. It's been those guys who have gotten it done in the NCAAs.
Well, one thing we can do for you is count the Maryland players, see who's left in the box. It'll be a face-off. Looks like 3 one-minute penalties. We've got 3 on the attack end, and that's it against 6 Maryland. This is Hochstead going against the world.
Running for his life.
Hockstead playing against the whole defense, can't get the shot off. And now the players back on the field. Looks like it could be even strength. Foul will be on Maryland again. Shot coming in. Haley gets tested. Far side. Hubbard gets another goal. He's cranking up the history books for his own numbers. And a lot of little chippy kind of action up here on the offensive end for Maryland. Hubbard, what a great day. What a great season. What a great career. This guy, his name will be mentioned many, many years down the road.
4 goals in the 4th quarter. Jesse Hubbard, 4-time All-Ivy League selection. He can do it all. We saw the outside shot. He's great in traffic. Early on in his career, really not much of a dodger. He's really improved that area of his game, and he can really sting you now from the inside. There he is, Jesse Hubbard, 4-time All-Ivy League selection. Had the game winner in '96 in overtime in a really dramatic moment. His 4th goal of the game. He's got over 30 goals now in his NCAA career.
Part of that magic 3 on the offensive end of the field. Jesse Hubbard, Chris Massey, John Hess. At one point in their careers, 3 years ago, Quint, Coach Tierney gave the ball to them and said, look, the future of Princeton lacrosse in the next few years is in your hand. Look at that numbers on the attack. 8-2, they've outscored them. We'll come back for our final moments here at Rutgers. We're at Rutgers Stadium, and the score 13-5. Princeton Tigers, defending champions, looking for that three-peat. They have an 8-goal lead, and Quint, they not only do it offensively and defensively, they've got the class to go with it. This team spreads the wealth. Hubbard, yes, he scored 4 of the last 5. He is a force, but everybody gets credit. Take a look at his offense. Now, this is live action. As they come back, Mecca gets another faceoff. He really has done a great job since they put him in there to get the faceoffs. Part of the formula in the second half.
That's right, faceoffs and the goaltending. And Corey Popham now will leave the game for Princeton. The senior, DeBello, will step on for Princeton. Popham, great job today. The questions were faceoffs and goaltending. Hey, and they answered. And then the attack took over from there.
Maryland playing shorthanded again. Hockstead, I think, in there for a minute penalty. With 2 players in there for a minute. They're 2-man short, 6 against 4. They'll just hold it behind the goal. Widely understood that through these wonderful 3 years, this team really, they've only lost like 1 game. They would never go above 19 goals. If they got up to where they were really beating a team, including last year's championship game against Maryland, they would stop at 19. And there's a goal by Massey. But Princeton remembers, Quint, when they were getting beat badly. Tierney remembers when he first came and he had to build his program over 5 years. You remember getting shellacked, and he said he promised he would never do that to another team. He stops at 19 if he ever gets the chance.
It's a classy move. Coach Tierney, that man there, all full of class. Took over Princeton 1988. I remember when we played them in 1988, we shut them out. We beat them 9-0. 4 years later, they're really the program to beat. Coach Tierney using that defensive formula, and then you win with defense, and you can recruit athletes like that man right there, John Hess and Chris Massey. Once you start winning ball games, you can start to attract great goal scorers. And this trio, an example of that.
Yeah, the magic of this trio, though, goes a little beyond that. The fact that they meld so beautifully, a shooter, a feeder, a dodger. They just have done magical things in the last 3 years at Princeton. 14-5. After that first half, who would have believed it would have been this much of a blowout, Quint? 3-3 at the half, 14-5. As we move toward the final bell.
An 11-2 run. Princeton has thoroughly dominated the second half. Made some adjustments at halftime. They were getting their shots in the first half. But in the second half, it's been all Princeton.
They have controlled everything they needed to control, including their emotions. Pasqualina in now as Maryland back to full strength, it looks like, for the final 3:22. We're looking at Rutgers Stadium. This is a championship game. Princeton leading 14-5 as the ball goes wide. They are the defending champions in white against Maryland in red, and 3-3 halftime turned into a major blowout here by the Princeton Tigers. They will win the championship 3 years in a row in Division I lacrosse. Leif Elsmo and Quint Kesenick bringing you all the action here on ESPN.
The game was knotted up at 3 at halftime, and then Princeton's thoroughly dominated the second half. on an 11-2 scoring run, and their big guns have stood up and been counted. Hess, Massey, and Hubbard.
Christian Cook, the story coming in. He was hurt, the captain of the team from Denver, Colorado, hurt in the game against Syracuse. He shut down Casey Powell, the most prolific scorer, the most dynamic scorer in Division I lacrosse. He got hurt, knee injury. Princeton played without him, and they played beautifully without him. Team concept really made it easier for them.
And Corey Popham, their goalie, the question mark of the defense, had his best game of the season in the national championship.
Maryland not able to get a shot off the swarming defense. New faces, new numbers in. The fabled three are out of the attack zone. The senior goalie now in, DeBello. We talked about that for Princeton, number 11. And even Maryland has new faces in here. They've got new attack in here, not their starters. John Kamenizis works far side now. A lot, again, fresh faces. Andrew Combs with the ball now. Sideline for Princeton starting to celebrate as we go down to about a minute and a half left in this game. Got to reiterate, 3-3 halftime. Who would have believed this one would have been such a separation in score? 9 goals separate these two teams. Maryland working around that young attack. These are the faces you'll see next year, Quint.
Neil DeBello, great save. The senior, Coach Tierney showing a lot of class getting Neil DeBello in the game. The senior from North Syracuse. His brother, actually one of the midfielders who played for Princeton in the late 80s and early 90s, who built this program to the point where it is. A lot of great athletes. When Tierney took this job, sacrificed and really built this program, and now you can see the outcome of that. And DeBello makes a save, and he'll have a seat on the bench. And the freshman, Trevor Tierney, the son of Coach Bill Tierney right there, will now get his chance. You can see the seniors on the sideline. That's Michael Allen, another senior. Didn't get much playing time in his career when you're sitting behind a guy like Hubbard, Massey, and Hess, but he's a quality player.
Well, Lawrence Smith, number 43, had that looking at him. He came in as a young talent. He's a junior now, and they said, we want to play attack, we want to play midfield. He switched positions rather than watch those three become the great All-Americans that they are. A minute left as Princeton starts the victory train. This is a team that really has dominated the 90s. They celebrated, Quint, at halftime, the 73 team of Maryland. Maryland and Cornell were the teams in the 70s. Hopkins has been strong throughout. In the 80s, Carolina went on huge runs. In the 90s, it's been Princeton. And of course, Syracuse has had a great tenure all the way through these great years of NCAA finals and championships.
They will become the third team to three-peat. Hopkins, 78, 79, and 80. And then Syracuse, 88, 89, and 90 behind the Gate brothers. Princeton has done it in the 90s, their 5th national championship.
Got some new faces scoring as goalie Pat McGinnis lets one get by.
Ben Hayworth, the senior. Got to feel great about that. Getting into the national championship game. Get your name in the scorebook. He's a senior, had 2 goals on the season. Coach Tierney showing a lot of class, emptying his bench. You got to feel good for a senior to step up in a game like this. Get some playing time. Get your name in that box score because that guarantees you immortality.
And Princeton, they've been here before celebrating, and Maryland, unfortunately, they were here last year as well. They swore it would not be like last year. They came in, tied the game at 3, played pretty tough in the first half. Andrew Whipple right here, captain, never got on track. The defense and this man Hubbard on the offensive end of Princeton just too much, showing that without a doubt, his team belongs in the record books as a 3-peat champion and the dominant team in the 1990s.
12-2 run. A team built on defense, and it's a team concept. They're playing without Christian Cook, a first-team All-American defender who played so valiantly in the semifinals. And then they hold this Maryland team to 5 goals, an amazing defensive performance.
Time winding down, a lot of fresh faces in there. McGinnis picks it up, throws it downfield. And Princeton, the dominant team of the 90s, proves they are the class of '98. Well, the Princeton Tigers celebrating what has truly been a remarkable run. They have Division I national champions, 92, 94, 96, 97, and now the class of 98. It's been a great championship week here at Rutgers. The semifinals were excellent. The Division III final was exciting, and this championship showed the class, the best of the best in Princeton. For Quinn Kesnick, I'm Lee Felkel, thanking you for watching us. And we want you to stay tuned for Bill Pito at ESPN Studios. Once again, the Princeton Tigers, the class of 98, and the team of the 90s.
Hi, everybody.